Context: my sister, 29 years old, and I, 23 years old, don't have the same mother. My mom has always been quite obsessed with beauty, not only hers, but mine as well. She started taking me to beauty contests when I was 4. I have been in those contests all of my life, and I have won some. I am still a model. My sister and I are not very much alike, not only physically, but also in personality. She has always been shy and more focused on hobbies like reading, writing, and painting. She has graduated from med school. She's very smart. I only finished high school. In my opinion, we always had a good relationship, and there wasn't any jealousy. So it was our dad's birthday, and we had a small family party for him. My mom, our dad, my 2 younger brothers, and us. There was quite some stuff that she didn't like. First, I had to eat something different than what they were going to eat, because I'm on a diet. She didn't like that, and said I could suck it up for one night. Then we were talking about a beauty contest that my mom wants me to participate in. My sister said that I'm too old for that shoot. Even when we were talking about my ex-boyfriend, she told me that it won't be hard for me to find another sucker who puts up with my princess behavior. What really set me off was that, after dinner and singing happy birthday to our dad, I opened Instagram to post some photos of us. I saw a post from one of my friends who's graduating college this summer. I commented on it to my family and said that I'm very proud of my friend and I'm attending her graduation. She said, "It's nice to be proud of an achievement like that. Not that you would know it since you only have your looks to be proud about." That was the last straw for me. She had been saying mean things to me all night, and then she just called me stupid and made it seem like I'm such an unworthy person. I started crying, and my mom got very angry at her. She asked her what her problem is and told her to stop being a witch. My sister told me to stop being dramatic and acting like a princess, to act like a grown-up. She doubled down, saying that almost all of my friends are getting degrees and I'm playing Barbie. I was crying, but I still told her that she was being a jerk. She told me I've been a jerk her whole life, so I should be the one to suck it up for once. Our dad and my mom finally had enough, and they kicked her out. But she sent me a wall of text telling me how I suck, how I'm so vain, how she has had to put up with being the ugly sister all her life, how I'm always stealing attention from her. She even said something about a problem that we had literally years ago with one of her ex-boyfriends. She told me that I messed up our dad's birthday dinner by not being able to take a joke, which maybe she's right. Do you think I was wrong here? Should I try to do something? Edit. About the boyfriend thing. She was dating a guy who told her that he would date me instead of her if I was older. She thought it was my fault because I was flirting with him and seducing him, and because he was seeing my photos online. But I did none of that since I was 15 at that time. Even my parents got angry at her for saying that. I thought we were over that by now, but apparently not. And no, I'm not an affair child, and my parents didn't have an affair either, since my dad was divorcing his ex-wife, my sister's mom, at the time he met my mother. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I'm going with Norwith. Everyone sucks here because I seriously question your ability to be a reliable narrator. The fact that you left out what happened years ago with one of his ex-boyfriends, assuming that was supposed to be her ex-boyfriend's, is pretty telling that you know you did something wrong and didn't want to admit it. Also, you don't explain how your food choices affected everyone else for her to even notice what you were eating. But again, that seems as though that was intentional. You're both too old to act like 4-year-olds, though. Comment 2. Everyone sucks here. Sounds like you are the golden child, and you do not want to admit it. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the support on my last post. It's been a month since the blowout at my dad's birthday dinner, and boy do I have an update for you. So, after my sister got kicked out, things were super tense. My mom tried to smooth things over, but my sister wouldn't answer her calls. My dad was upset too. He hates it when we fight. I felt awful, like maybe I had overreacted. But then, things took a turn. A couple of weeks ago, I was at a photo shoot when my phone blew up with messages. My sister had posted a long apology online, saying she was sorry for the things she said and that she was dealing with her own insecurities. I was shocked. I mean, this was the first I'd heard from her since the party. I called her right away, and we agreed to meet up. We decided to go to our favorite cafe, the one we used to hang out at when we were kids. It was weird at first. But then we started talking, and it was like we were sisters again. She told me about her job at the hospital, how stressful it was, and how she felt like she was always in my shadow. I never knew she felt that way. I told her about my modeling, how it's not all glitz and glam, and how I sometimes wish I had gone to college like her. Just when things were getting better between us, my sister dropped a bombshell. She confessed that she had been seeing someone from work, a doctor, and that it was getting serious. I was happy for her until she told me who it was, my ex-boyfriend, the one who had caused the drama years ago. My jaw hit the floor. I couldn't believe it. She said it just happened, that they connected over their work, and it wasn't to get back at me. I didn't know what to feel. Betrayed? Angry? But looking at her, I could tell she was genuinely happy, and I didn't want to ruin that for her. So, I swallowed my feelings and gave her my blessing. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. Things were going okay until last week. My sister invited me over for dinner to meet her boyfriend officially. It was awkward, to say the least. He tried to act like nothing had happened between us, but I could tell he was nervous. My sister was oblivious, just happy we were all together. After dinner, he pulled me aside and apologized for the past, for everything he said about dating me if I was older. He said he was young and stupid. I accepted his apology, but it didn't make things less weird. The night ended on a strange note. My sister was so happy, and I didn't want to ruin it for her, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I left their place feeling like I had lost a part of my sister to my past. And then, 2 days ago, my sister called me, crying. She had found out that her boyfriend had been bragging to his friends at the hospital about dating the hot model's sister and how he had scored both of us. She was devastated. I was furious. How could he do that to her? To us. I went over to her place and we talked for hours. She was heartbroken, and I was there for her, just like she had been for me. We decided that we didn't need him to be happy, that we had each other. Boyfriend wants me to kick out my tenant and let his mom move in my small studio. Oh boy, I have a different plan for them throwaway account for privacy reasons. I, 28-year-old female, have been with my boyfriend, 32-year-old male, for almost 5 years, living together since the first lockdown. His mother, 71-year-old female, never liked me, mainly because of my parents and background, my height, and my line of work. I don't really have a relationship with her due to her being mean to me. I really tried at first, but gave up because insults never stopped. Last year, her long-term partner died, and his kids kicked her out of his house about a month ago. I own a very small studio apartment that my parents bought me when I was going to university. A tenant lives there now, and a male 3-bedroom house where my boyfriend and I live now. Again, my parents helped me buy it by giving me approximately 45% of the down payment. My boyfriend contributed nothing, nor did I ask him. His mother is temporarily living at her sister's and is increasingly unhappy about not having her own space. She can't afford to move anywhere on her own. Without consulting me, my boyfriend brought up my apartment to her and implied she could move in there. When he told me about it, I said absolutely not. First, I'm not kicking out a good tenant. Second, she's been mean to me. Third, my parents, whom she's been bad-mouthing, paid for that apartment so that I could have a head start in life, not for his mother to have a comfortable retirement. He asked to at least pay a deposit for an apartment. I said no. His mother, his problem. I saw text messages where she calls me a witch. No way I'm helping someone who's this mean to me. We had a huge fight, and he said I'm spoiled, selfish, and this is why he didn't want to marry me in the first place. I did bring up marriage some time ago, and he did not give me a straight answer at the time. Now, I don't think I'm selfish or spoiled. My boyfriend has been living at my place rent-free for nearly 4 years. I also gave him approximately 5,000 euros when he was buying a car, and he never returned the money. We earn a very similar amount of money, which is above our country's average, yet he has no savings while I have a lot. He could have saved tons of money while he was living at my place rent-free. Instead, he took up expensive hobbies and bought his dream car. On the other hand, I am very frugal, and even my own car is worth less than what I contributed to his car. My boyfriend's cousin, who is also my friend, told me I'm being a bit of a jerk and should help his mom as she's old and has nobody else. Her being mean is just what she is. She can't help it. I do agree that I could easily help her, but it's not true. She has nobody else. She has 2 kids of her own. Her daughter is no contact with her. And if she needs my help so bad, the least she could do is apologize for being rude to me and ask for it herself. So am I the idiot? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. First, I'm not kicking out a good tenant. Second, she's been mean to me. Third, my parents, that she's been bad-mouthing, paid for that apartment so that I could have a head start in life, and not for his mother to have a comfortable retirement. Any one of these is enough. My boyfriend has been living at my place rent-free for nearly 4 years. I also gave him around $5,000 when he was buying a car, and he never returned the money. He can get a place with her. Problem solved. Be grateful that you didn't get married because he would have regarded the apartment as his, regardless of how it was paid for. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Age has nothing to do with it. She has treated you and your parents with disrespect and nothing more. There's a reason her daughter is no contact. And I'd be skeptical of your boyfriend also. He sounds like a leech. He had no right suggesting that after how his mother has treated you. Let him figure it out for her and leave you out of it. Perhaps he can sell his dream car and put the funds towards a new apartment or something for her. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, a lot has happened since my last post, and I just had to come back to update you all on the drama that's unfolded. So, remember how my boyfriend's mom was mean to me, and he suggested she move into my apartment without asking me? Well, things escalated quickly after that. My boyfriend and I had a huge fight about it, and I thought that was the worst of it. But oh boy, was I wrong. Turns out, my boyfriend had been secretly plotting with his mom behind my back. I found out when I accidentally saw a message pop up on his phone from her, thanking him for working on the apartment situation. I was shocked. I confronted him, and after a lot of arguing, he admitted that he had been planning to convince me to let his mom move into my studio apartment by slowly wearing me down. I was furious, not just because of the betrayal, but because he had been living rent-free in my house for years. I had even helped him buy his dream car, and this was how he repaid me? By going behind my back with the one person who had been nothing but mean to me? It felt like a slap in the face. But wait, it gets worse. Remember how I mentioned his cousin, who's also my friend? Well, she had been telling me I was being harsh and should help his mom out. I found out that she was in on it too. She had been trying to guilt-trip me into helping his mom as part of their plan. I couldn't believe it. Someone I considered a friend was actually trying to manipulate me. I felt so alone. I thought about how my parents had helped me get a head start in life. And here I was, surrounded by people who seemed to only care about what I could give them. It was a tough pill to swallow. The confrontation with my boyfriend was intense. He tried to justify his actions by saying he was just trying to help his mom, but I wasn't having any of it. I reminded him of all the times I supported him financially, and how he had never even paid me back for the money I gave him for his car. I told him that if he thought I was so selfish and spoiled, maybe he should find someone else who met his standards. As for his mom, I decided to reach out to her directly. I wanted to see if she would apologize for the way she treated me. But when I talked to her, she just doubled down on her insults. She said I was heartless and that I didn't understand what it was like to be in her position. I was done. I told her that I had tried to be understanding, but there was no way I was going to help someone who couldn't even show a basic level of respect. I also reminded her that she had other children who could help her out, and it wasn't my responsibility to take care of her. After that conversation, I felt a strange sense of relief. It was like I had finally stood up for myself after letting people walk all over me for so long. My boyfriend and I haven't broken up yet, but things are definitely not the same between us. I've started to seriously consider whether this relationship is worth the constant drama and disrespect. And as for the apartment, my tenant is still living there, and I have no plans to kick them out for someone who has been nothing but mean to me. I've learned a lot from this whole ordeal. Mainly that I need to be more careful about who I trust, and that it's okay to say no when people are trying to take advantage of me. Sarah keeps lying about vacations, but then I confront her. Oh boy, her mom says I'm a bully, but my mom has other plans. My 41-year-old female daughter, 10-year-old female, Anne, has a friend group of 5 girls. They're all 9 to 10 years old, except for one who's 7 years old. Let's call the younger girl Sarah. Anne has told me that Sarah tends to lie a lot, mainly about vacations and cool experiences. For example, if one girl says their family took a vacation to XYZ location, Sarah will say she's also been there, maybe even 3 times. Anne was talking about how she bought an oyster with a pearl inside. And Sarah made up this story about how she once found 9 or 10 oysters on the beach with pearls inside them. According to Anne, Sarah does this with literally every vacation or cool experience any of the girls mention. The girls were buying this at first, but over time it became obvious that she couldn't have possibly been to every single vacation spot of all 4 girls combined, some even multiple times. Another girl in the group, Diana, 9-year-old female, went to Paris over winter break. The other day, Anne, Diana, and Sarah were hanging out, and Diana was talking about her vacation. Sarah immediately said that she's also been to Paris. I guess Diana could tell she was lying, and had enough of it. Apparently, she called out Sarah, while Sarah kept insisting she was telling the truth. Then Diana started to question Sarah about the major tourist spots in Paris, and Sarah couldn't answer anything. Both Diana and Anne were frustrated with Sarah's lies, so they decided to hang out separately. The following day, Diana's mom and I got an angry text from Sarah's mom alleging that our daughters made her kid cry because they were bullying her. She admitted that Sarah lied about going to Paris, but insists that since our girls are older, they are at fault for calling her out so harshly. Look, I know Sarah is young and can empathize with why she feels the need to lie. She probably feels not as cool as the other girls, since she hasn't been on those vacations. I honestly feel kind of bad for her. However, as much as I acknowledge that this feeling is terrible, especially for a kid, the truth still remains that lying isn't cool, no matter what age you are. Another thing to note is that our girls never talk about their vacations in a bragging way, but more in a let me share this awesome experience way. And trust me, if Anne ever did put down another kid for not having been somewhere, I would punish her instantly. However, this wasn't the case, and I really don't think Anne did anything wrong. Sarah is the one who lied to her friends, and got called out because they were annoyed and hurt by it. Diana's mom agrees with me that our girls aren't in the wrong. We texted her back defending our girls and suggesting that she have a talk with Sarah about lying. She just got more angry and insists that our girls need to be punished. The thing is, I know that Sarah is significantly younger, and as Anne's mom, I may be biased in her favor, so I want more opinions. Are we, Anne and I, in the wrong? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. And Sarah's mom is doing her a great disservice. 7 years old is plenty old enough to have been taught not to lie. Instead of teaching her daughter this, now Sarah has learned from her friends that liars generally aren't well liked. That's Sarah's mom's fault, not yours. And your daughter shouldn't be punished for removing herself from that dynamic. Comment 2. No idiots here. Sarah's mom should see about getting her daughter into activities with children, her own age. 7 to 10 is a big jump, and Sarah is trying to fit in where she doesn't feel comfortable being herself. If you haven't already, it might be good to explain that to your daughter. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the comments on my last post. I wanted to give you an update on the situation with my daughter Anne, her friend Sarah, and the whole lying debacle. So, after the whole Paris incident, things got even more intense. Sarah's mom had been pretty upset with us, but I decided to give it some time before reaching out again. I thought maybe she needed to cool off. Meanwhile, Anne and Diana kept hanging out without Sarah, and it seemed like they were having a good time, just being honest with each other. A few weeks passed, and I thought the drama had died down. But boy, was I wrong. Anne came home from school one day, looking really upset. Apparently, Sarah had started a rumor that Anne and Diana were talking behind everyone's backs, saying mean things about the other girls in their group. This was a shock, because Anne is not the type to gossip, and I knew she valued her friendships. I had a long talk with Anne that night. She told me how she always tried to be a good friend, and how much it hurt to be accused of something she didn't do. I reminded her of the time when she stood up for a classmate who was being picked on, and how she's always been the one to include everyone in games at recess. Anne's always had a big heart, and it was clear that this rumor was really getting to her. The next day, I got a call from Diana's mom. She was just as shocked as I was. We decided it was time to have a meeting with Sarah's mom to clear the air. We met at a local coffee shop, and the tension was thick. Sarah's mom started off on the defensive, but we calmly laid out the facts. We talked about how our girls had been hurt by the rumors, and how we needed to work together to teach the kids about honesty and kindness. During the conversation, Sarah's mom let slip that Sarah had been feeling left out ever since the Paris story. It turned out that Sarah had been struggling with feeling inferior because her family didn't go on big vacations like the other girls. This was a big revelation, and it helped us understand why Sarah might have started lying in the first place. We all agreed that we needed to help Sarah feel included without needing to make up stories. We came up with a plan to have the girls do activities that didn't involve talking about vacations or material things, like volunteering at a local animal shelter or having a book club. It was a start, and it felt like we were finally getting somewhere. But the real jaw-dropping moment came a few weeks later. Anne had a birthday party, and she decided to invite Sarah, despite everything. It was a brave move, and I was proud of her for it. The party was going well until Sarah pulled Anne aside. I watched from a distance as they talked, and then, to my surprise, Sarah started crying and hugged Anne. Later, Anne told me that Sarah had apologized for starting the rumor and for lying about the vacations. She admitted that she felt bad and didn't want to lose Anne as a friend. Anne, being the forgiving person she is, accepted the apology and they made up. Since then, things have been better. The girls have been hanging out together, and Sarah hasn't told any more tall tales. It seems like she's learned her lesson and is trying to be more honest with her friends. And as for justice being served? Well, it came in the form of Sarah having to face the consequences of her actions. She had to apologize to each girl in the group, and it wasn't easy for her. But in the end, she was forgiven, and the girls learned an important lesson about honesty and forgiveness. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.